We are live. This is the market update. This is the meltdown market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Okay, so the market is nuked, and we are going to discuss what we are going to do about it. We are going to discuss why it's nuked. We're going to go briefly into the roadmap, which we just went into in depth in the YouTube member area and Patreon, as well as what picks we like and for shopping and what themes we like. Sort of didn't spend enough time on the themes, but we will be able to do that in additional member streams. So there's picks and there's themes. Something's going to climb out of the ashes here, and we're working on that in the YouTube member area. We just got off that stream. Now, why is this thing acting the way it is? WTF? What is going on? Please help me. I'd be happy to. So if you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel, Patreon as well, the middle tier offering. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. Check out LuxAlgo, the backbone of the charts on this show, along with the Bill Noble Market Indicator, which will be very useful. And don't forget, if you have any money left, check out Bitcoin Las Vegas. Get long now while everything is testing support at 0. Now, let's begin with my Sunday evening, right? What do I always say about this market? They love to get you on weekends. They've been getting you on weekends for a while. You know, it's tariffs, it's this, it's that. This was the unexplained 7 p.m. puke. In other words, I'm sitting there, I'm minding my own business. I look at my phone, Solana's down 5%. I'm like, what is this? What do you mean? What do you mean it's down 4 or 5%? On what? Okay. So we're going to go over a little performance review. Like we're going to go over what I got right, what I got wrong, or what I didn't fully see. But I said Bybit wasn't over in 5 days. It wasn't over in 1 day, rather. Right. And again, YouTube member area, you know, we're discussing on as to how to play this Bybit thing. When is it over? So if I said things like Bybit aren't over in 1 day, I should have moved past the FTX PTSD and said, yeah, you know, you could probably have a lot of volatility here. Well, you're like, okay, Bill, well, we've seen the volatility, but what happened? Well, here it is. So first, the hack happens, and everybody with black t-shirts from Bybit comes on and says, don't worry, everyone's covered. And everybody gives them a golf clap, and everyone thinks that's it. Then the attention turns to Ethereum, and everyone's like, well, Ethereum's got to solve this problem. They got to do something on the blockchain. They got to roll it back. They got to do a surgery. They got to, you know, I don't know, fork it into Ethereum North Korea. Ugh, whatever. And I said that. I was like, you know, it's funny how this turned to Ethereum rather quickly. And that should have been a red flag. Meanwhile, back at the Bybit ranch, they're like, well, we have reserves. But a reserve is not just some giant pile of cash that some dude sits on top of waiting for the phone to ring going, oh, yeah, you need the giant cash I'm sitting on? Yeah, okay, let me just send the truck over. No. They're holding crypto, or they were lending out their reserves for people to buy spot. And then guess what they had to do? Well, they got some ETH and made their customers whole, and then they had to pay for it. So they called in all their loans. So somebody borrowed $1 from Bybit and bought $3 worth of Bitcoin, right? Completely safe investment. It's a blue chip coin, right? Everything's fine. What could happen? Okay, so here's what happened. Bybit called in the loans. Bybit had to sell whatever it had to sell, right? Feels like Solana was at the top of the list. Everybody pukes it out. All the guys who borrowed money from Bybit have to sell because Bybit doesn't care. They're like, give us our money back. We got to take care of our customers. We don't care about you. You may lose money, but we don't want to lose customers. Okay. So this explains how Michael Saylor bought $2 billion worth of Bitcoin. Here's how that went down. You're a salesperson at a company like Galaxy Digital. Phone rings. Hi, this is, I don't know, customer of Bybit. Yeah. We have to liquidate. Or it's Bybit going, yeah, we have to liquidate one of our customers. Okay. How much have you got to sell? I don't know. 2 billion Bitcoin. Oh, wait, hold on one second. Hi, Mike. Yeah, it's the big crypto investment bank. We got a guy on the other line who wants to sell you 2 billion. He's got 2 billion Bitcoin to move. Are you down? You're down? Okay, done. Okay, done. Bye, guys. Now, Michael Saylor was able to buy 2 billion in Bitcoin. And then there were obviously other phone calls made because there was more puking to be done. Mike just only happened to have 2B on hand as whoever just gets liquidated. Now, that being a really good story, where did I come up with the story? Well, because if you look at the market, it's basically down and it just sits. Like if you're in a bear market or if, you're in a broader bear trend, it's like, well, you go down and then you bounce 7% and you go down again and everyone thinks it's over and then it goes down again. But this is just like down and sit, down and sit. And I said this might be like 2018 because Bitcoin went down and just sat there. And when Bitcoin just sits there, it's never good. And then boom, everybody gets liquidated. BlackRock is now moving Bitcoin to exchanges because people are getting out of the ETF. The U.S. states that were doing the Bitcoin reserve, they loved it at 108, but at 88, it's not as attractive. Chocolate. And right. So that's the way that works out. Everybody just goes, And now everyone wraps a bearish narrative around the fact that you have forced selling. Now, the good news about forced selling is when it's over, it levitates higher. So when the final thing is sold, it's like a hot air balloon. The next buyer that comes into the market is not met by a seller. So you could have forced selling by Bybit, forced selling of ETFs. And this could continue because the other thing that I had was this Gann planetary alignment, which I did tell Patreon and did just explain to the YouTube member area that, you have multiple Gann events over the next 3 weeks. And, Gann events normally result in trends expanding and then reversing, right? So the downtrend expanded into one event and then reversed. And then following that, everybody thinks it's going to be NVIDIA tomorrow. That's probably what everyone's freaking out about. We covered both the NVIDIA and the yen in the YouTube member area, and you do need to check that out. That is not free stuff. So please check that out. But the bottom line is we are now in an era, a regime of forced selling. Nobody wants to sell Bitcoin below 90. They're being forced to. This is Bybit liquidations, and this is anyone else is being liquidated. I mean, every day Watcher Guru is like 2 billion liquidated, 9 billion liquidated. Every day there's like a new record. It's a new record. What are these guys doing? Does everybody just, does some machine just get levered and they load money in again and then the machine just gets re-levered? What the heck's going on? Okay, now you're probably at this point like, all right, Bill, maybe you should tell me something good. So let's talk about something good, and then we'll welcome who's here. So, the North Koreans, right? Who backs the North Koreans? The Chinese. Right? And, if you wanted to punch the orange man upside the head, what you would do is you would do something to compromise the integrity of the crypto market, particularly Ethereum, his baby, right before he's got to do the State of the Union address. You would also kick America in the cojones, right? Because Web3 and crypto, at least a month ago, was a growth industry because they can cut all the spending they want. They can fire all the employees they want. They can fire all the guys who are sitting at home collecting a paycheck and doing nothing. That's not going to solve the fact that they're spending $1 trillion every 100 days. You need growth now. So if you kick us in the pants on Web3 and potentially start an everything crash right before the State of the Union address. That's what I would do. And if that's what they did, that was a brilliant move by somebody, because now you got the orange man coming up to the podium. Now you might be wondering why this is. Well, because if you have more volatility, say it that way, again, Patreon and YouTube members have got the roadmap. If you have more volatility, you're going to see the Fed. There's no way, especially with their jobs on the line, you can have the orange man stepping up to the podium, especially after he just pooped in his diaper with this 25% tariff thing. So now the optics are horrendous. This is really about Bybit and other complex macro factors like NVIDIA, currencies. But what the world sees is Trump drops the hammer on tariffs and everything goes. And if you have an everything crash after the tariffs, the orange man's going to be looking at a level of opposition and you're going to be looking at embarrassing. And the orange man doesn't do embarrassing. So that means you might see the Fed with high-powered money, right? Like, forget about interest rate cuts. Nobody cares about that. If the Fed wants the market to go up, or if the Fed wants markets to stabilize, they can stabilize it. And they may have to, right? Which could lead to, you know, some kind of wick down. Somebody's going to panic. And then it comes back up. So fear, greed, we got the slide somewhere. Fear, greed is at like 25. So this could be like the inverse of November, right? November, everybody was bullish, but not long. Then everybody got long. Then it went down. Now everyone's bearish, but I don't know if everyone's liquidated. I don't know if people who have spot have given up. I suspect not. Now, I would encourage you. I don't think there's any point, even if it is down only, in puking this thing before February 28th, right? Like if you lived it with it for this long, what you can do is, which is what I did. If you did something and you put a stop in and that stop gets triggered, even though if you feel like you're selling the low, be disciplined, let the stop go off. Then if you got something like Bitcoin where you're not stopped out, you know, leave it. Leave it and just preserve what capital you can so you can add when the time comes. Okay. Here's some cheery news about cross-chain. This is unbelievable. Okay. Bybit returned 100,000 ETH to partners who supported the exchange during the hack, with 33,000 ETH still to be repaid. Okay, that's good. And then I'm seeing another headline here that the Bybit hacker is bridging to Bitcoin through THORchain. They are also swapping ETH to DAI using OKX Web3 Swap. Wow, what a fantastic headline. Cross-chain leads the hacking debacle. Okay. So none of this is good. People are bearish and they may panic. Now, if you want to know how that can help you, again, Patreon and the YouTube member area have got detailed roadmaps, picks, and themes to look at. So you definitely want to check that out. Now I'm going to welcome who's here. If you're still here after listening to that, then I love you. Okay, Yav has got an access membership. Welcome. Eagle King is here. Welcome to the show. No, Eagle King is here. I'm here. Bull Runner is here. Welcoming the Eagle King. Randall, DC Precise. Art from the Amsterdam Airport. Daniel J. Sean. Randall, a member. Winners don't quit. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. David Goggins. Daniel J. Legend, the DJ, a new member with the sheepdog emoji. Yoppy, the water guy. T-Bone, what's up? Digital Bobby. Philip, Silas, welcome to the show. Big crowd here today. Kane, wrong again. Legend. New members not leaving. I appreciate that. Joe Mike. Love you guys. Andreas from Cyprus in the house. Welcome. Okay. All right. Let's get to the news. Let's get you all the information that you need. Okay. So apparently when you type a certain individual with orange, tan, and blonde hair into an iPhone, it translates into something weird. Like if you type a naughty word in, it translates into the name of this individual before it translates back to the naughty word. Reminding you once again that there are people out there, even if you like who's in charge, there are still people out there who don't want you to be as free as you would like to be, which is why I'm happy I'm in antivirus, which right now is a parking lot for Solana sludge, which is cool and interesting that we have a value proposition and we're a safe haven from Solana. I did not include that in our value proposition. Okay, so considering a second job to acquire more Bitcoin. Mike with the McDonald's joke. It's mostly funny. If your average price is 66K, it's funny. If your average price is 96K, not so much. Okay. Now, again, you knew this yesterday because crypto Twitter was like, how can this guy buy $2 billion worth of Bitcoin and not have the price go up? And now you know why. Because they're just absolutely unloading on this thing. And these Bybit guys, these hackers, could also be unloading because they can't track them. They can't find them. They're moving all this ETH around. Vitalik didn't trap them when he could, assuming he could. And now they're everywhere. So they're selling. Bybit is selling. BlackRock is selling. And when they're all done selling, it's going to be a good opportunity, because I will tell you something about this, right? This is for the end of the cycle. You know what I mean? And everyone's going to say the cycle's over. And I think it's not over. This is a liquidation event. Everyone said Bitcoin was over when FTX got liquidated, and it wasn't. Now, it sat down there for a couple of months at 16K, but it wasn't the end. It was the beginning, which I think is what you have to have in order to have an up move. In order to have a cycle, everyone has to be out. Everyone. And I know that sucks because you're a part of everyone, and so am I. But you cannot have a cycle until everyone's out. So this market's going to go down until everyone is out. Probably except Mike. Everyone. Right? I mean, remember this whole rug of the day thing? Good morning. This is the crypto news. Today we have Dave Portnoy rug, Melania Trump. We have, I don't know, Kanye West. It's the rug of the day because rugging is fine. And the market's like, oh, really? Okay. Well, we'll just go down until you change your mind. Okay. President Trump's son says buy the dip. Okay. I'd be happy to. So as soon as the orange man comes out and says, I'm buying it no matter what. I don't know where the gold is in Fort Knox, and I suspect that field trip's going to get canceled real fast. But sitting around waiting for the orange man to save us on March 4th, I mean, I think the more likely scenario is the Fed has to save the orange man and make a deal. Like, you'll shut up about gold, and you won't fire us, and you won't send Ron Paul in here, and we'll pump high-powered money in the system 2 days before you got to step up to the podium. As soon as the GAN planetary event is over, we'll help you out. Okay. ECB advisor, because, you know, the ECB, they know what's going on. You want to take trading advice from a bunch of guys that bought trillions of government debt at negative interest rates before a massive tightening cycle. Market Geniuses says Bitcoin has no real economic need, dismissing Bitcoin reserves. Okay, dude. SEC Crypto Task Force met with Zero Hash for innovative focus. You know what? Everyone loves Hester Pierce. I would question that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were there when Gensler was there, but how much noise did you really make? Like, you're known as Crypto Mom, and that's good because you were the only person who wasn't Gensler. But what exactly have you done for me lately? Or more to the point, what have you done? Just a question. Just saying. 21 federal tech staffers resign, refuse to dismantle critical public services. Elon doesn't care, right? They don't care. They're going to do what every corporation does. They're going to overfire and then hire people back. That's what they're going to do. And whatever they do, it's not going to be enough. They're going to have to crush government spending. And if you have an everything crash, they may actually crush it harder. They may crush it harder. They're not going to back off the reduction in government spending. They have to do it because they have to get the dollar and rates lower. Okay. Now, I got right that Bybit wasn't over in a day. Didn't think it was going to result in an FTX because who could ever possibly think or wish for that? But I should have, because on February 14th, 10 long days ago, Coinbase partners with Aston Martin to put Coinbase most likely on a Formula One car. And the cringe on this was unbelievable. I could almost not continue with the market update. The cringe, it's like FTX basketball arena, right? Michael Saylor on the front cover of a magazine, changes the name of the company, Coinbase on a Formula One car, and that's the market update. Should have gone on vacation. Done it. You know what I'm saying? Like this, plus Bybit, plus other volatile factors that we discussed in the Patreon and YouTube member area. And then, of course, there's this, which people think is the reason why the market went down. And maybe Algo sold it initially, but this just added to the Bybit pressure. So you have machines selling it off tariffs. You have machines liquidating Bybit's clients or Bybit or whoever. Machines. See it. That's why it's down only. That's why there's no bounce. If humans are involved, there's a bounce. When it's machines liquidating everybody, and the Fed is going to have to save his guy, or he's going to get up to the microphone and somebody's going to throw something at him. I mean, not trying to get in trouble, but he's going to be subject to criticism where he's basically been, the king of America, literally. And, Bitcoin and the stock market falling out of bed when you're up at the podium, that's not a good look. Although then again, you might be stopping Nancy Pelosi out of some of her positions, which would be sort of funny if they weren't stopping me out of mine. Okay, 1.4 billion liquidated from cryptocurrency market. We do this, every time the market goes down? I don't know, man. We just keep liquidating levered people until there are no levered until there's no one to liquidate. Until everyone's done, everyone's out, everyone has transitioned out of sludge. Fear greed is at 25%. It was at 94% at Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving, 94%. Valentine's Day, 25%. If you had been at Thanksgiving and said, hey, fear greed's going to 25 because we're going to have a major exchange liquidation and we're going to have currency problems. And yeah, it's all bad. People would have thought you were out of your mind. So it may pay to go the other way. Matter of fact, if you listen to Toby, it always pays to go the other way. Which is why I should be in the YouTube member area to get whatever it is we have. Because if you can imagine it at 25, and then you can imagine it at Bitcoin Vegas back at 80, which is in late May. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to our channels. Okay, Eric Trump says, buy the dip, cringe. Michael Saylor says, best advice. Cringe, just a little, right? Wait till everyone fully pukes it out. But 86K is good support. I have to admit that. 86K is a good level. If they're going to do stuff like this, make sure the Fed's coming in behind them with high-powered money, especially Eric Trump. Michael Saylor is going to bull post it no matter what, but Eric should be quiet unless he knows something that we don't. El Salvador adds 7 Bitcoin. Not a bad level to do so. Don't have a problem with that. I can't even talk about this. SBF weighing in on being unemployed. Can't do it. Futures drop as momentum massacre. Oh, God. And I hate it when these everything crash guys are right, especially when there were signals. Right? I got to own it. It's like it was there. Zero Hedge is like, we'll be scarred forever. Meanwhile, Coinbase is putting their name on a Formula One car. Like, right? And that's how these things happen. Now, most likely the things that everybody are worried about are mostly known or they will be soon, which can create a wick lower. Again, you got a couple days until this planetary thing is over with. So just because I have a theory, that's not a fact. It's not over until it hits the front page of the New York Times, which can take a period of days. Okay, so here's Charles Hopkins, guy from Cardano. What's extraordinary to me is we have all the fundamentals for a gigabull run in the market. Yet somehow the industry has set a new record for paper hands. No, the industry has set a new trend for meme coin, illegitimate insanity coupled with levered machines. That's what we've done. That's fine. I mean, it is what it is. Markets will just take care of everybody. The leveraged machines will get liquidated. And, whoever wanted to buy Kanye coin or, anybody who thought these meme rugs were fun or profitable, see it. It's like a 5-year-old throwing a temper tantrum on a supermarket floor. Okay. My guess is Bybit lent money to a huge player and they called in the loan. No other way to explain how Michael Saylor, the good news, how Michael Saylor could buy what he did. Problem is nobody knows where the selling is really coming from, which is why it's toxic, which is the other reason why it's down only. So when you have guys saying, the fundamentals, I've seen this a million times in my life. The fundamentals are fantastic, and the only thing that's changed is price. Okay, that's probably true, but normally price has a way of overshooting. So if 86K is a good level, I don't know if they can overshoot it. Solana should be up 5% today. I hope it winds up that way, because down 14% and then in the red again with support at 130. It's like, oh. But, okay. Now let's talk about other risks. So you have an NVIDIA counterparty, customer, supplier, super microcomputer is about to get delisted for accounting problems. You have accounting problems in equities. You have Microsoft backing out of a deal with OpenAI because things are not as profitable on the chatbot front as everyone thought. And you have NVIDIA earnings tomorrow, and I will let you go into the YouTube member area to see whether or not that's an issue or not. But like I said, worries about NVIDIA and other macro things, those are kind of known. The problem with crypto now is the unknown, what we don't know about Bybit, okay? The Bank of Japan is intervening. There's something wrong with the yen. There's something wrong with fiat. There's something wrong in Japan. We don't need a repeat of last year. If we saw that. Chain Flip plans upgrade to prevent Bybit hackers from using its cross-chain DEX. What a horror show, right? Cross-chain, the miracle thing we all need. Antivirus is going cross-chain with its mixer. We got to shut off cross-chain because of a bunch of evil hackers. I swear to God, if the Orange Man doesn't track those people down, I mean, that should be like a Tom Clancy novel. You pick up everybody. Just pick up the whole neighborhood, right? Or have them meet the business end of a drone. You know what I'm saying? One way or the other. Please take care of it. Please. Okay, Riot Platforms report revenue surge. Obviously, everybody made money last year. If stonks survive NVIDIA, I'm interested in crypto equities on a Bitcoin puke. Crypto equities may be the value investing play, if you have a stock market problem. Even if you do have a stock market problem, either they're going to get so cheap or they're going to be what everyone runs into, because I can't believe there's a value proposition for Web 2 in a Magnificent 7. Okay, so here's a hint. Fetch.ai, ASI Alliance, launch Web3 native AI. So we had a lot of good things to say about AI in the YouTube member stream this morning. Bottom line is you're going to be rewarded for taking risk in certain sectors, right? There's going to be a winner. There's always a bull market somewhere. I know I said that and the market went straight down, so I'll only say it that one last time. Okay, but in these plays, in these sectors, especially sectors that have gotten wrecked, right? Like AI has gotten wrecked, right? DeFi has been ignored. There are plays in there, which we discuss. Okay, so everyone's coming out of the Bitcoin ETF. We discussed that a lot of that was in the hands of traders and speculators, so they're going to come out. Probably the more downside action you get, you're probably going to have retail panicking. So if there's a paper hands issue, it may be in the ETFs. Okay, this whole idea that Bybit was going to get solved by Ethereum was, quote, a joke. It wasn't Ethereum's problem, and they're not going to know how to solve it. Okay, so Metaplanet, a group of guys who I actually like, bought a whole bunch of Bitcoin at 96 right before it collapsed. 96 actually did look attractive right before they got hit with Bybit. And that'll just show you how shocking this Bybit thing really is. I mean, again, I looked at this thing on Sunday night. I'm like, what is this? I mean, like out of nowhere, because you thought everything was all right, because the guys in the black t-shirts, the stylish dudes were like, yeah, we got this under control. Cool. And everyone's giving them like the golf clap. And it is under control. The customers are getting their money back. It's just that, people had to sell. I guess it wasn't their job to tell you that. It's not. Their job is to tell you what they're going to do with their customers. But I mean, if Metaplanet didn't know, I don't know. Nobody did. Okay, so XRP was going to $6. Now it's going to $1.50, according to the media. People are not interested. Open interest at 8-week lows. I mean, I do this show every day. I mean, a month ago, I was like, I can't read all the bullish news, and now it's all the other way. It's all negative. 5 world leaders embroiled in meme coin scandal. You know, there's this guy I know. I don't want to say I trained him, but he worked under me when he was a college kid. Now he's a really great analyst. And he called me up. He said, a lot of smart people are saying the Trump token's the top. And I was like, well, I think the Trump token is a shift into like meme coins meaning something, knowing antivirus was coming right behind it. So much for that. I mean, antivirus is still, excuse my language, kick ass, because we got a project members and developers, and there's nobody more memeable than McAfee, right? I got a thing on my Twitter, but you know, world leaders doing meme coins following Trump. Like if you think you can do Trump and a meme coin and it rugs, right? Okay. So somebody's saying EVM missed designs. Everybody's pointing the fingers at why Bybit was hacked. You know what? Bybit was hacked because it's the job of government to protect the people. If you got hackers out there and you want crypto as a growth industry, you got to take out the hackers. I don't care what's going on with EVM misdesign. Okay. Hackers swapping, Bitcoin seen diving to 80, traders buy the dip. Buy the dip with what? Ether heads towards set of chain $300 million on-chain liquidations. ETH needs to drop another 19% to trigger the first liquidation. So that's a nice way of saying forced selling can become more forced selling. Like, in other words, these things can spiral. I mean, Celsius spiraled into, you know, Luna, which spiraled into FTX. Hopefully that's not the case. In other words, hopefully this is a liquidation event, not contagion. If you have contagion, then this goes, you know, deeper. Remember, the GAN event's the 28th. So what can they do in 3 days? Well, hopefully nothing, but I said that 3 days ago. And they did this. Second biggest outflow on the Bitcoin ETF, Cheery. Bearish Bitcoin bets over $1 billion. You know, they're going to get caught. Eventually, they're going to get caught here. Remember, hedges are something that little doggies pee on. Nobody wanted to get hedged at 108, but at 88K, oh, I got to get hedged. So if they're getting short to get hedged, they may get a little gratification. But when this thing comes back, when the forced selling is over or the Fed comes in, the good news is all these shorts are going to get stopped out. I'm telling you, they got everybody on the upside, and they may wind up getting the shorts too. Okay, crypto sentiment, extreme fear, and they're blaming. The media is trying to point to something because they can't see anything else except tariffs. And I'm sure crypto bros and regular people are thinking the exact same thing, because as soon as he opened his mouth, the whole market, everything went down. Everything exploded. I mean, it was going down before that, but the optics are horrible. Okay. Now, whoever this is, of course, this is Omar, right? Omkar is smart. He's smart as hell. And he's smart enough to look, it's not tariffs. It could be something with currencies. Because equities are going down, and that has nothing to do with Bybit. Like if we go to Stonks, right? If we go to Stonks, I have to pull it up. You know, you got what's called 3 black crows in NASDAQ. I mean, NASDAQ is down like 3 days in a row. And normally that's not good. Let's go share this screen here. Like the hope is that NVIDIA is going to be okay. That's the hope. Because I think if NVIDIA is okay, we can calm down for the moment. So here are the down days in NASDAQ futures. Here's QQQ. Okay. QQQ is now coming to the bottom of a trend line. It's tough to figure these things out, but you broke out at the top of the trend line and came back in, so you might break out at the bottom. There's nothing good about what's going on in stocks. I cannot believe I'm looking at a world where they bid up stocks and annihilated crypto. It's like worse than last year. We had to look at this last year. Gold up, stocks up, crypto doing nothing or getting hammered. Same stuff, yen carry trade. I was like, the good news is that was like the all-time great buy ever. So if everyone panics here, that could be a good thing. Could be. Oh, Solana green on a day. Yay. Thank goodness. Okay, let's go to the charts. Let's see what we got. All right. Now, Solana has good support at 131, right? And that looks like that's where Solana was this morning. That's the good news. The additional good news is any additional downside will probably be a 13 bottom. And this 5 in this 0 represents more of a permanent bottom in Solana. So that's great. Okay, you better see the bottom in Solana. Now, if we go to a tactical chart, okay, there's more good news in that the market responded to a 13 bottom after doing one final rounding puke. Now, of course, the big question is, are people willing to pay higher prices? Are people, people are willing to buy Solana if it's puking down to 130, but are people willing to come in and pay 140? By a question. Okay. The discount zone on the daily chart in Solana is at 121. Okay. Now, if you look at the 4-hour chart and just pretty much every single thing is like this, this is the 5-wave indicator that the Bill Noble thing on LuxAlgo can help you find for groups of symbols. So you got a 5-wave bottom. You got every DeMark buy signal, every bottom signal. It's at the discount zone. This is Solana on a 4-hour chart. That's the good news. Okay. You do not want to see a failed rally from here. Like if this is not a bottom, it's going to 120. Now, in the event that you're not upset and you'd like to be, let's look at Bitcoin. So the good news on Bitcoin is that Bitcoin got to its discount zone on a 4-hour chart, right? So Bitcoin looks fine tactically, right? There's no reason to sell Bitcoin at 86K at all. None, right? Especially if you look at the DeMark work on Bitcoin, which basically shows, this could go on for like 2 more days and then it's over, which is what we've been saying, right? About the planets thing. Right? So Bitcoin's at an 11, 12, 13. They've taken out the support. They've stopped everyone out. They've scared everybody. It'll make the 13 bottom in 2 days and then it'll turn up. Or so we think. Until I show you the chart that's going to upset you. Okay. So let me come back to the chart that'll upset you theoretically, and then we'll go back to XRP. Okay. Now, so here's Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's gotten to the 200-day moving average. That's good. 200-day moving average is holding. But the thing about Bitcoin that's kind of messed up is that Bitcoin's like equilibrium zone is at 80. So equilibrium in Bitcoin is like 78. Discount is 49. Not on a daily chart. We're not talking about that. 200-day moving average is at 85 and the machines know it. So in theory, you could run stops down to 78 in theory. Tactically, there's no reason to sell Bitcoin here. There's no reason to sell Bitcoin in front of the 200-day moving average. However, if people lose their mind, that's what can happen. Okay. Okay. So here we go. Back to theater, right? Here comes the theater. Musk government staff to be fired if they don't respond to the second email. So the second email went to like, I don't know, people with clearances and stuff like that. I think we need to see the Fed. I think Elon needs to call up the Fed and be like, hey guys, help us out here. They need help from the Fed, not more of this, but that's just me. Okay, XRP, let's talk about it. Everyone packing it in on XRP. So XRP did break through the bottom of this like triangle formation. So a lot of coins did this. MicroStrategy did it. Ondo did it. That was a warning sign. It was like, yeah, these coins are not that good. We'll move to another coin. And it had market implications, right? So this is not constructive. And then equilibrium in XRP is $2. And if it holds there, I'll be happy. Okay. I mean, again, if you look at all this stuff tactically, you know, it's all in its discount zone. So, I mean, I'm not going to puke out XRP at $2.09 unless, you know, you're doing basic risk management and your stops are getting triggered. This is an XRP 4-hour chart. Like, this read speaks to, you know, down, and we either sit and trade terrible for 3 days, which would be fine. Even if we traded terrible for a month, that would be fine. As long as it's not down only, because that's forced selling. Now, if it is down only and machines come in and they unload on it, you could have a wick, because we've had everything, right? We had a wick on the tariffs, but we've never had like a, you know, like something happen just because, right? Like the whole thing just kind of gives out. We haven't seen that. We did see something with the tariff, but like, I don't know that this is turned into fear, but not panic. We haven't seen panic yet, I don't think. Right. So, you know, like I said, like ETH versus Bitcoin is higher. I guess that's good. Let's look at Cardano. So, well, actually, let's go back to XRP on the DeMark work. Okay. Now, here's what's wrong with XRP. XRP was in a range where, you know, you'd have a 9 bottom and then a 9 top. And I really did think they were going to get it going here, but it failed. Right. And after a 9 top, you don't want to see a failed rally. This was really hard. This looked really good. Now, I don't know what it looks like. Is it a head and shoulders top? Right. If you look at a 4-hour chart, all right, there's a lot of good news. So all the tactical charts, say for today, tomorrow, all the good news is on the 4-hour charts. You got a 9 bottom, you got a 13 bottom. It went to the heave level at 208, and it's relatively stable. The tactical stuff looks okay. So if the tactical stuff holds, the daily charts can change if they're done with the forced selling. If they're done with we don't know. We don't even know if it is forced selling, and that's the problem. So if you have good tactical charts, you should get a rally. If you don't get a rally, you're going to have to make decisions, because that means you have unknown stuff going on. You don't know what's going on. You won't know until later. FTX, Celsius, all this stuff was the same way. You just don't know. You don't know. Now, what you do know is that you have good charts on 4 hours, like XRP. This is good. Right now, you should get a rally. Right? Do people want to pay higher prices? People love to buy it when it's like a giant red candle. Really? People are like, oh, yeah, I got it at the low. All right. But do you want to buy more as it goes up? That's the question. And seriously, I mean, I don't know if I've had the answer right this second. Right? My sense is the market's vulnerable, and the best case scenario is some kind of range. Matter of fact, the best case scenario may be some kind of range for all of March, albeit it might be in a big band. But again, that's in the YouTube member area. The tactics, the coins, you know, the roadmap, the whole thing is in there. So, you know, you want to get in there and check that out. All right. Okay. T-Bone says Fetch and virtual. That's what he's into, right? You know, somebody said 225, said that wick was the last wick he was looking for, and we hit it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. T-Bone said that you may be able to do recreational things with your anti. Yes, I have heard that. That anti means to be a cryptocurrency, right? They want you to buy stuff, because that's what McAfee wanted. McAfee wanted you to use cryptocurrency to be free. A SIM card, a gift card. I mean, you know, right now, antivirus, yeah, you know, look, there's two things I'm going to tell you about antivirus. One, I own it, and it's very near and dear to my heart because I'm a huge McAfee fan, and they've got an AI agent. They got Janice, the widow, and they got real functionality. The guy that's running this is a project manager, and they're just delivering, they're just building stuff. They're releasing it every week, but no one cares because it's a meme rug market. Now it's a liquidation market. That's fine. That's good. Let them build it all and let it all sit there and be working. And somebody goes, wow, look at this. Now, what's really happening here is, first of all, the Spartans and the samurai, right? They ate the dip. Like you can see some volume here. People puked this out and they ate it up, right? And then somebody came in and realized it wasn't going back to 5 million, which was the high on the V1 token. And they started buying it, right? And, you know, what do you want to do for the next month? Like it's just a question, right? What do you want to do for the next month? Do you want to sit in Solana? Solana may go back up. I mean, I just showed you Solana's got a lot of support at 130. Solana's not going to zero, but do you want to sit in Solana? Are you going to get asymmetric upside in Solana from here? Or, you know, maybe. Or are you going to park money in antivirus? I think antivirus for the moment is a parking lot. Now, these things can unravel, but I like the fact that it's hanging in there. You know, honestly, you know, that can change. You can have volatility, and you're going to. But I would rather own this than some of the sludge that's out there with Bybit circling over the top. You know, this scary. Scary. Okay, let's see what else we got going on. We got a big crowd here today. Long glaze. There will be a skyrocket when Elon actually announces a handoff from the saved waste. Again, Uncle Sugar is going to have to do something to help turn this market. The Fed behind the scenes, a $5,000 check, or the orange man is going to have to announce that the sovereign wealth fund is going to actually do something. Otherwise, you know, like I do have some concerns that people may price in a disappointment trade ahead of the State of the Union. Like this is something we haven't talked about, right? In other words, if people go, you know, the more they hear from Elon, the more they may sell. I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not the case, right? Okay. At least, you know, Jason says at least the exchanges recovered their losses, right? From the alleged hack, which is a good way to say it. Right? God forbid they find out that, you know, that hack wasn't a hack. Somebody had a bad position. Yeah. I don't even want to think about that. But at least the customers are mostly okay, as I understand it. But this does not inspire confidence in the market. Legend, the DJ, is not leaving. Sean Stats is here. Welcome, sir. We appreciate your business, as we do, right? Kane is here. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Sergio's Blum. Is that a digital asset? Maybe. Let's see. It is. Okay, so it's on support and people have packed it in. Sharing screen. So people packed it in. It's not on the discount zone, but it is on support and people have given up. So sometimes there can be a final heave. I mean, it is below this trend line. It doesn't look terrible, but you do have to watch out for people giving up. It looks like that's happened already. Sometimes I've seen like this kind of selling and then there's one more move. I really hope that is not the case. I really hope that Bitcoin at 86, because again, I've seen this is from a guy named CVO Crypto who can draw these unbelievable things. I think they're called harmonics. He was talking about 86 and you hit 86. Well, you know, there's definitely an argument at 200-day moving average in Bitcoin for that to be it. And I really hope that that's the case, right? That everyone who is going to liquidate it, liquidated. We do have 3 more days until the first GAN event happens. I think if there's any more of this, it's going to affect equities or going to go along with equities, and you're going to see central banks, particularly if you have currency volatility overseas. particularly so. And I will also say, like, I will end it with this. So it's pretty clear. It seems clear that the thing they did to get the money for the ETH was to sell Solana and then sell Bitcoin. Okay. So you want to see Bitcoin hold 86 and you want to see Solana at least get some positive closes. You see Solana do these like little failed rallies, especially with all that support underneath 130. That would be bad. But if you see Solana start closing in the green, then you can have some of the scenarios and some of the plays we talked about in the YouTube member area. And it looks like we're right on the money with the roadmap that we gave both these guys this morning and Patreon 2 days ago via the 6th Street Crypto podcast. Definitely would encourage you to check that out. Some of the best time to get research is when the price action is disturbing, right? When it's boring, people become less interested. But when it's really moving like this, you know, you get bad news, but you get opportunity, especially if they give it to you quickly. Now, at the end of the day, we don't know what's going on, and that's the problem. That is the problem. We don't know why the market is down, and don't tell me it's tariffs because it's not. As soon as we do know, or as soon as they're done with the forced selling, it will levitate higher, which brings me to a key point. Toby brought this up in her own way this morning, okay? Time in the market is more important than timing the market. Now, if you have to manage risk, move stuff around, then do it. Okay, just do it. Your accountant will love you. But you want to have capital to make sure and sanity that you can stay in because, you know, this thing could turn around. They could force sell it and sit here and then boom, it turns around. Because the orange man will be on the tape on the 4th and the Fed will have to be there before or after him, I would think. So, like, don't be stubborn. Don't be dogmatic. Don't be married to stuff that ain't coming back, especially if it's in the last cycle. But if you're in Bitcoin and new stuff and you want to hang in there, make sure you have a core position, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen as soon as I get off here. You know, I could get off here, this thing could go up. I could get off here, and then you can find out, you know, these machines and the levered players have more. But time in the market is going to matter because when these things turn, even if they get volatile inside of a big range, you don't know when it's going to turn. And you have to ask yourself, like Toby asked people, where are you going to be in 2050? Our roadmap explains where we might be in May and how we get there. So you want to check that out. You definitely, Chainlink. All right, let's do Chainlink. Chainlink was actually in the roadmap. Where exactly I have to leave up to you, but we can definitely chart Chainlink. Considering everybody hates cross-chain, everyone's all freaked out because bad guys are using it. Bad guys. The orange man needs to have SEAL Team 6 pay these guys a visit. We spend all this money on defense and intelligence. Let's use it. Let's use it. Okay, so Chainlink broke down actually earlier in the month, which is interesting. A lot of share screen. Okay. So you have a lot of support at Chainlink, although it's not the discount zone, but you've got the LuxAlgo reversal signals. Chainlink is pretty far away from equilibrium, and I'm sure if you look at Chainlink on a 4-hour chart, you're going to get the same signals. And the thing that's ironic about Chainlink is that people were buying it on the way down, which is very impressive. And that's not shocking, right? It's not shocking that people are looking for DeFi and AI. We've been screaming this. Toby's like, he's just nonstop. I'm like, Toby, can we talk about something else today? She's like, no. We're going to talk about DeFi, AI, and cross-chain, and the relevant picks are in these areas. Chainlink is telling you right here, right now, that, you know, this thing avalanched lower, and they bought it, which, of course, makes sense. There are sector plays, right? People are looking at this going, wait a minute, you know, 86K Bitcoin, Bybit liquidates. So I'm going to start going after stuff that I like. What do you like? She says, buy what you love. Hey, man, you can argue with that. You can say, hey, that's woo-woo rhetoric. I don't care what you say. Woman's right every time, right? So if you love Chainlink, if you love DeFi, you know, get after this stuff because that's what people are doing. That chart is a perfect way to end the market update, right? It's like, yes, this could go lower. Yes, they could wick it down. Yes, they could get upset. But if it's done and they announced why it happened, and you see the Fed in front of the orange man, there are positive scenarios. I just would prefer the market to not be like, continue to be down only, like range bound. Okay. But like down and staying down and then down and staying down, that's no good. But clearly somebody in Chainlink doesn't care. And that's right. Like, you know, you're not going to care. Whatever's going on now, you're not going to care in May. And I'm done giving away the member live stream. Right. Okay. That's it for the market update. We will see you tomorrow.